The Ice Age stuff is very weird.
We all love the Ice Age stuff.
What was
right?
going on with the Ice Age stuff?
Yeah, and especially since it's not the first Ice Age.
It's the fourth. It's continental drift.
It's
which is the fourth one.
Weird.
Welcome back to the Breakroom. This is our after show for the first two episodes of Alien Earth on FX and Hulu. The episode's titled Neverland and Mr. October. This is a new series from Noah Hawley that's set in the alien universe and establishing some new things. For example, how early xenomorphs got to Earth, what other biodiversity exists in this universe, and how evil can corporations really be, and what does it mean to have $1 trillion? Is there a Bare Naked Ladies song about that? We'll get into it in this episode of our Alien Earth After Show. Do we have a graphic? We do!
Oh, thanks, Brian.
I wanna be a trillionaire so freaking bad.
Yeah, there's that one too. So I'm so excited to get into this show. I've been very much looking forward to it. I'm Erik Voss. Joining me on the show today. Is he a cyborg? Is he a synth? Is he a hybrid? Or is he just a friend? It's John Costa.
Both of my eyes have tentacles on the backside.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
And she doesn't care about the money. She doesn't care about the power. She just wants someone to have a good conversation with. It's Gina Ippolito.
Listen, send all the kids to my island. Nothing. You'll never hear from them again.
There's no
I swear
list.
I'm not doing anything weird to them.
There's no list.
So what we're gonna do in this episode is we're gonna spoil everything that happens in episode 1 and episode 2 of Alien Earth. So if you haven't seen it yet, just brace yourself. You should watch it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I really am digging it so far. We'll get to our initial reactions. We're going to recap generally what happens in these first two episodes, and then we're gonna tackle some of the big mysteries that are being set up on this show and some of the deeper messages that they're trying to convey. And then if you have any questions, if you're joining us for the live stream, hit us up in the live stream. If you're on Twitch, be sure to tag at Breakroom NR. If you're on joining us on YouTube, we'll see your super chats quicker. But if you just want to hit up messages, just repeatedly ask. We'll try to get to as many questions as we can. I'm wearing a Weyland-Yutani shirt. John's got another one of our alien designs. Both of these are available at nerdriot.shop. We also have all kinds of designs. Gina's rocking our Superman-inspired shirt.
Yeah.
So many cool shirts and other hoodies and merch stuff that make great gifts that you can grab at nerdriot.shop. Great way to support us in Rockstars.
Get yourself a mug.
Quick recap of what happens in these first two episodes. Episode 1, John's drinking scissors. Episode 1 is titled Neverland. We learn about the USCSS Maginot, a 65-year research vessel from Weyland-Yutani that has collected 5 specimens that something, of course, goes wrong, and it crash lands into Earth. Meanwhile, we also learn about the Prodigy Corporation, which is a rival corporation to Weyland-Yutani, run by a trillionaire named Boy Cavalier, who never wears shoes.
I'm so whimsical.
God. Or he's from Santa Cruz and he drives, not putting his flip-flops on the gas pedal.
He's that one kid we went to college with where you're like, we get it. You're a hippie. You're an academic hippie. Good for you. You're walking around the campus barefoot. Yay.
It felt like if Jacob Collier was not into music, but like suddenly became a billionaire. Why is he wearing so many Sherpa hoodies or whatever?
Yeah. He took like one like cruise near Nepal one time and he was like, this is my whole identity now.
The Prodigy Corporation is fashioned as like a Peter Pan Lost Boys vibe, right? Boy Cavalier clearly invented that name, like hello boy, Peter to Wendy to Peter. And then he has this new technology to transfer the consciousnesses of sick, dying kids into new adult synth bodies. We learn there are 3 new kind of guises in this race for immortality. Synths, as we've seen them in the Alien franchise before, which are synthezoid bodies. We have cyborgs, which are humans with cybernetic implants. Who knows how much of them are implanted? And then we have these hybrids. That is kind of like a secret operation that they're doing. They're not even allowed to tell their families that they're doing this. But basically, we start with one name. Marcy, who chooses the name Wendy. And Boy Cavalier wants to be known very clear that he's into the Lost Boys and Peter Pan. This isn't just like something that's under the surface. It's not subtext. It's text. But they get super powered. They can run really fast. They're very strong. They're basically indestructible. She has a mentor named Kirsch, played by the delightful Timothy Olyphant. And then when the Maginot crashes into the city of New Siam in Thailand, which is a prodigy city, basically Wendy's brother, who doesn't know initially that this happened to her, he's a medic named Hermit, who goes in with a military group to do search and rescue, and then runs across all the different horrifying beings that are on the ship. We also know of a character named Moro, who was on the crew of this, and let the rest of his crew die when it crashed. So now it becomes like a game of corporate piracy, and they're trying to stop each other from stealing each other's IP. And then one by one, a lot of these people get killed off. Meanwhile, Hermit is just barely able to escape a xenomorph. He gets into the high rise where the Maginot has crashed and tries to get people to get out of there, but we find out like there are super wealthy weirdos, including a Restoration Europe powdered wig party, where they refuse to leave and are hilariously killed by the xenomorph. But we also find out why he's so into baseball. It was a connection with his father, and the brother and sister are reunited. It's very emotional, but unfortunately, a xenomorph tackles Hermit down a shaft. And that's where we leave episode 2.
Yeah.
I want to know you guys' reactions and thoughts to these first 2 episodes.
Oh, on the spot. Here we go.
Johnny on the spot?
As with Eric, a big fan of this franchise. Although I will say, I think that the Alien movie sets a very high bar, and I'm not sure that anything that has come has really touched that bar, including this show, unfortunately. I like a lot of the stuff that's happening, and you mentioned mystery box stuff earlier. That, unfortunately, is the Lost Boy in a different context that I am, a fan of the show Lost. Love a mystery box, and so I'm excited to talk to you guys about that stuff. I think Gina and I were talking earlier before the show started that there were a couple of things that just bumped me out a little bit. But the show is very, very well reviewed. I don't know how many episodes the reviewers have gotten to see yet. I'm hopeful that their opinions hold steady and we just have more good episodes to come. I thought these first 2 episodes laid good groundwork, but maybe didn't quite meet my expectations.
Yeah, I mean, like, I liked it and I wanted to love it.
Yeah.
I did, like I said, I liked episode 2 better than episode 1, so I think it's on an upward trajectory. Also, episode number 2, directed by a woman, which in sci-fi and especially an action-heavy episode is rare, so great. Also, great job. I thought episode 2 was great and delightful. There were a couple of things that were, like, weirdly ham-fisted, in my opinion, for Noah Hawley, who, like, I think people watch Legion and rewatch Legion and they're like, what does this mean? What does that mean? And he's very good at being like, it could mean anything. Like this, I'm not going to hit you over the head with subtext. I'm not going to hit you over the head with this. I'm going to lay some stuff out and you're going to figure it out on your own. He's going to lay some pipe.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, like in this one, the metaphor of like, the Lost Boys and Boy Cavalier and even like that actor's performance, like I feel like are a lot. Like he's like, we get it. Like Peter Pan wants to stay a kid forever and naming all of the like half human, half synths after the Lost Boys. Like it's like we get it. It's a metaphor that is sort of being stuffed in our faces in a way that I'm not used to with Noah Hawley stuff. I'm used to sort of being a little bit unclear about what's going on. So I wish he would have maybe, you know, like let it rest a little bit, but I do think he's going to stick the landing. I am going to keep watching. I just had really high expectations for an Alien property and a Noah Hawley property, and I don't think it quite lived up to either of those.
Yeah, I generally liked these first 2 episodes, and I'm with you guys. Alien and Aliens are in my top 10 movies of all time. Aliens usually 1 or 2, depending on how I'm feeling that week. I think Alien is a perfect film. I think Aliens is a perfect film. So yeah, the bar is very high. I think when I watched the pilot for Fargo and when I watched the pilot for Legion, those like first seasons were like perfection.
Yeah. This
so far is not perfection. There's stuff that I'm willing to wait and see. I think there's kind of like a weird mixed brew of kind of lore and references that Noah Hawley is playing with. We get the Peter Pan stuff. I agree with you, Gina. It could be more subtle, especially when you watch a show like Lost. It's much more subtle. There are character names, and sometimes you'll see Sawyer reading a book or something like that. That's like a Lewis Carroll kind of thing, but they don't like make it so clear. So I'm waiting to see what that evolves into. The Ice Age stuff is very weird.
We all love the Ice Age stuff.
What was
right?
going on with the Ice Age stuff?
Yeah, it was. I found it very strange.
And I really enjoyed how this show was edited for a good chunk of it, and then like Sid started to like fade into the picture.
Someone freeze-written that and like put it on Twitter and was like, "This is a real." Like someone put it on Twitter as like, "This is a real shot from this show," and all the comments were like, "Did you Photoshop this?"
No.
Like, I don't understand what's going on. And even like in the moment, and especially since it's not the first Ice Age, it's like the third Ice Age.
It's the fourth. It's Continental Drift.
It's so
which is the fourth one.
weird.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just such a it's not, we have no, like, you could argue like a whole generation of people have a lot of nostalgia for Peter Pan and for that particularly for that Disney movie. I don't know if anyone has nostalgia for Ice Age 4.
Continental Drift. Here's my other problem. This show takes place in the year 2120, which is a long time after Continental Drift was released.
No, that's
so it's
my
not like
issue.
we were kids that grew up on it and like it was like a joke between the brother and sister. Like that's sort of how they set it up. But like that movie came out 100 years ago.
But that's not like my issue, because there are kids who still watch like Snow White and things like that. But it's just such an odd. I think I use the example of like, I would get it if it was WALL-E or, you know, like even something totally random like Fox and the Hound. But to like pick something that, you know, is mediocre at best and the fourth in a mediocre series is just so strange. It's almost like he was like, oh, what can I pick one line from that's like a call and repeat, which is the like, or like Taste My Fury. Your furry what? It's like, it's almost like he was like, yeah, that's good enough. I don't want to watch other like kids movies. Or even if you pick like a Goofy movie or something, I'd be like, yeah, this is like, but I don't know if anyone has a soft spot in their heart for.
You know what, guys? We're being really hard on Ice Age 4 Continental Drift. It meant so much to millions.
It's not a bad line to like pull and use in the show. Obviously, it is a little kid focused, and she had to show that she could manipulate that robot at the end or whatever.
Sure.
Now, I will say, I did just do this research. Who knows if it's correct because it's from Google's AI overview. But it does say that he has a 12-year-old son. So maybe it was just playing at his house one day and was like, that line actually works in my script.
I am sure that is what it is. I'm sure he has a connection to it because of his kid.
It's what Noah Hawley told me. I asked him about this when I interviewed him. And I even pitched him like a theory. I'm like, hey, you have the 1953 Peter Pan. You have an Ice Age movie in there. This movie, or this show is set in 2120. And I'm like, but you know what? In 2122 is when the first Alien comes out, and Ripley sings You Are My Lucky Star, which is a number from Singin' in the Rain, a 1940s film. So, is it fair to say that in a world so dominated by AI that at some point movie studios don't consider it profitable anymore to even bother with original IP, and that we reach a singularity point where we just stop producing, like Hollywood just stop making original films?
Yeah.
And so that the kids who are growing up in the 22nd century are only watching stuff that came out in the early 21st century. And Noah just kind of looked at me blankly, and you can watch this. He just kind of looks at me and he goes, well, 100 years isn't that long ago. And then he talked about how his son is always watching Ice Age 4. And that's the only reason why. I'm like, Noah, you can just say anything.
Yeah, it is a very weird, it's like weird to see like a character who we've just learned like has suppressed emotions, like reacting emotionally to Continental Drift. It's just, again, like if you had made it sort of anything else.
Iron Giant, relationship about a boy and a robot connecting. You know? WALL-E obviously is a good one for that.
So many. Listen, for a short period of time, like all the Miyazaki movies were partnerships with Disney. So you could have put a Spirited Away in there.
That's a great point.
Ponyo. So many great options.
Yeah, instead you went with not Tokyo Drift, Continental Drift.
Tokyo Drift also was in that.
Now we're talking.
There's an Easter egg in the background that you might have missed. Here's a question that I have about the sort of Peter Pan of it all. Marcy, is that her name?
Yeah.
She's able to kind of pick her name.
Yeah.
maybe it's sort of incepted by this sort of
Yes.
video that's on the ceiling or something. Or do you think that like somehow she was influenced more than just that video to choose that name? Because it seems like either all of the kids just happened to pick the right name from Peter Pan, or he's assigning names. Also, do you think that when you get this body made for you, it's a Build-A-Bear situation where you're like, no, I don't want him to be bald. I would like him to have
No,
nice
I
hair.
think they don't get to pick because she's like, oh, she's pretty,
looks like a
and that's
Wendy.
the first time she's seen her. But yeah, I would buy that like Boy Cavalier would like deliver her breakfast every day, and he'd be like, "How you doing today, Wendy? What, Marcy?"
Yeah,
It just suits you so well.
It is interesting that like the island was already called Neverland Research Facility. His name was already Boy Cavalier. The Prodigy logo was already the teddy bear.
Yeah.
So like, was it just convenient that like she's like Wendy, and then we can name all the others, other kind of Lost Boys, but also
One of them's me, yes.
He's not a
one
Lost
of them
Boy.
is me, and one of them is Toodles. Like, I think I would be like, okay, so Wendy's the only one that gets sort of
normal
like a
name?
normal name.
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
One of them
I gotta be rabbit or whatever.
Slightly.
Slightly. So I really did like the reading of the J.M. Barrie quote about like mothers tidying their children's minds to bury the naughty thoughts and then like
it's much
to
more
lift up the pretty thoughts for the kids to wear the next day. I'm like, yeah, these Victorian values were weird.
Right,
Like,
and much like a lot of those sort of early Disney like movies, the book is much more disturbing. Like Alice in Wonderland is much more disturbing than that movie, and so I do love that we get some of the disturbing, like, oh yeah, you remember this as a Disney movie, but it's pretty messed up. Which also, go rewatch Pinocchio. That movie's messed up as hell.
So this show is expanding the alien lore as we previously knew it in a couple ways. One is that, you know, it was implied that xenomorphs never walked on Earth.
Yeah.
Unless we're talking about the Alien versus Predator movies, the first one, and then Requiem, which said that aliens and Yautjas, or xenomorphs and Yautjas, were age-old foes through ancient times. But the other alien films, like, it wasn't until Alien Resurrection where, like, it's implied the USS Auriga crashes into the surface and that maybe some alien creatures could be walking the Earth thereafter. Now it's establishing that even before the events of the Nostromo, 2 years before, there is at least one xenomorph on Earth, and then we end episode 2 with like 5 xenomorph eggs, so there's going to be more. But then we also establish these other very interesting species that I'm kind of digging even more than the
they are
xenomorph on
fun.
the
The
show.
little wormy guys.
The
bloodsucker.
The blood that gets so drunk and fat, and it's like that
I mean-
one mouse in Alice in Wonderland. Cinderella, right?
Cinderella, yeah. Jack, isn't it?
Yeah. Or I'm maybe thinking the rat in Charlotte's Web who gets like food high on all the carnival food.
There's also a rat in Ratatouille that loves to eat.
Yeah, that's true.
Rats, get it together.
But anyway, the fauna in the show. is so
Gus,
good.
it was Gus.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Gus.
There you go.
So there's that. There's the whole idea of the androids, like and synths, right? Like I think in Ridley Scott's prequels, Alien or Prometheus and Alien Covenant, it's implied that like all androids until that generation at least, look like Michael Fassbender. I don't think Ridley Scott ever said that explicitly, but it was just believed that like, you know, every android that was printed. Now I think they've removed that like Wayland Yutani website that established that, but like they had to establish why the crew of the Nostromo didn't recognize Ian Holm as an android. He was like kept secret from them.
I wonder if it was like they're all gonna look like Michael Fassbender, and then people tried to bang him too much, and then they were like, can we make them look like someone else? Pick maybe Ian Holm.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's interesting when we go to the Maginot in the
still a lot
opening
of people
scene-
want to bang Ian Holm.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Sign me up. But he, Mr. Tang is a synth who's on the Maginot crew. And they kind of make fun of him. They're like, he watches us while we sleep.
Which he did, and it's creepy.
That is creepy.
Yeah.
At first, when they're like bullying him, I'm like, oh, come on. And then like he's like standing over the girl, and I'm like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Get out of here, man. What are you doing? Why are you watching her?
He's like
Kick him off the ship.
He's like that guy in Hey Arnold who's always behind Helga. Poor Tang.
Yeah, I was not on his side. I was on his side at first, and then when I saw he was creepy, I was like, yeah, that is creepy, dude. Boundaries.
But I was just going to ask you guys, why do you think that crew gets to know that Tang is a synth, but the Nostromo crew were not told that Ash was a synth? Is it like a difference between a science vessel and then truckers who are hauling mineral?
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like the people on this ship are sort of like blue collary, right? Like I guess a couple of them are.
That scene really reminded me of scenes from the first Alien movie when they're all kind of sitting around shooting shit.
I mean, it does seem like it's a clearance issue, right? Like some people have higher clearance than others. I think the real answer is probably just like when they were writing Alien, they would be like, wouldn't it be cool if it's revealed that one of them is like, and we can't do that if they all know this. Whereas like now that reveal wouldn't have the same. Although like in the Alien universe, at any point anyone can be revealed to be a synth. Like Boy Cavalier could be a synth.
I expect to get a
least
twist.
One reveal. Yeah.
Either that or like Marcy not actually being the first hybrid somehow or something. I feel like something we've been told is a lie. I even wonder, like, I think that all of the kind of flashes that we saw are just premonitions or things that are about to come in the series or whatever. But, you know, I could even see a world in which he wasn't actually watching them sleep, and that was something that, like, maybe these people are being experimented on and are injected with false memories or something. You know, who knows where this show is really going to go.
Yeah.
These evil corporations experimenting on people is part of the DNA of the show. So
Definitely.
Who knows?
What do you guys think? Let's talk about our first mystery box question. What's behind the door? In the facility, in the Neverland Research Facility, Marcy and Dame Sylvia walk past a door that's being sprayed with something, and we see this door again in episode 2. Clearly something is behind this door. In the breakdown, I just throw out a dumb idea that it's a Yautja back there. I want a predator to be back there. Stupid.
Yeah.
But do you guys have any ideas of what could be back there?
It does look very Stranger Things, right? Like the sort of like blackened, like them in Stranger Things when they're sort of trying to burn the except this time they're trying to freeze it. I think it's a collection of 1980s porno magazines.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're like, it's worth its weight in gold. They don't make this anymore.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. Like, on one hand, I want to say it's the bodies of kids that didn't work out, and you didn't have to fake a funeral or whatever.
Dark.
There's some dark stuff. On the other hand, maybe it's like a bedroom of actual boy who's now been taken over by a straw man CEO or something. I don't know. It is a fun little mystery that they're setting up.
I do think it would be awesome if like Boy Cavalier is revealed to be like a 90-year-old man.
Right.
And he was the first like synth body that got uploaded with a brain, and now he's like, oh man, I'm gonna like live forever. I need to have someone to have good conversations with.
He just wants to have a conversation with himself. That's his only option. Maybe.
I was trying to figure out what he's spraying, or if he was. I don't think he was welding it shut. It looked like he was like in a hazmat suit. There was some kind of toxin.
I thought they were. I thought that they were trying to keep it frozen.
So you think it was like liquid nitrogen?
That was what I thought. Like I was like, oh, it could be already like a bunch of eggs or other things that they're keeping below a certain thing so that they don't hatch. That was my non-joke answer.
Well, they did mention like the people of New Siam were at a Founders Day celebration in the park, and are we to believe that Dame Sylvia is Boy Cavalier's co-founder? She kind of viewed me as someone who works for him rather than
works for him.
So who is the founder? Or are they saying like the city of New Siam has like different founders that aren't? It seems like it was a company town that he built or founded.
Right.
So I don't know if I was reading into that too much.
I don't think dudes like
Is
that
it just
never
Bangkok and they renamed it because the city they've taken over and
dude, CEOs like that never have like a co-founder. They always either kill them or buy them off before they get that famous. So I think he did it himself. Calling it now, I think he's a weird 90-year-old man who maybe he's like old enough. Maybe he's old enough to have watched Peter Pan in the theaters.
Like we do have what's his name, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, who the Google co-founders, but they cashed in, right? I don't think they're not like Zuckerberg still at the top of that.
Right. Yeah, Zuckerberg forcing everyone else out, like Musk taking credit for other things.
I mean, even Bezos is no longer the CEO of Amazon.
Yeah.
But I think we do have Sam Altman, who's still in control of OpenAI.
That dude's supposed to be in jail.
Well, Sam Altman, they tried to oust him, and then everyone revolted
he did a
and they got him back.
reverse oust. I also wonder if these kids are actually sick or if they were targeted
crap.
and then maybe given something to make them appear sick or something like that. Right? Like if you're trying to create this hybrid program, of course you would go after kids that are sick because their parents would say yes, or it would be more likely for their parents to say yes. But what if something in these kids' brains is unique and special, and she is actually special, and they're like, and we're just going to give you a little cancer.
Yeah.
So your parents say yes.
Yeah. Use the microwave 100 times a day. It's good for you.
So you have Marcy and Joe. Their dad is played by Noah Hawley. It's a cameo.
Oh my gosh, that's why I was like, this guy looks so familiar.
I saw that when I watched the screener for it. I was not allowed to ask Noah Hawley about it. And I was going to be like, why do you have an eye patch in that one photo? What happened to you?
Yeah.
There was
He's like a sketch comedian that's like, what do I have for Halloween in my drawer?
I got his bag before
devil
the day.
ears and an eye patch.
I was watching daily. They forgot I needed the costume myself.
There's something going on with this dad, because remember in episode 2 they say something like he was a survivor of, and they get cut off. So what do you think is the backstory with the dad? Is that going to be important as we go on?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. One of the big themes in all the Alien, in a lot of the Alien movies are like, like the wealth is up here, and then the working class basically has to do terrible things to survive. Like that's why it's like, oh, you have X amount of months left on your contract, you have this and that. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was some sort of like, mining accident or like some blue collar accident that made him sort of more like, aspirational than the other like people. And this might be why he agreed to let his daughter be experimented on, because he was like, well, at least I know she'll be like living the high life in this weird Neverland ranch.
I wonder if it's like a Weyland-Yutani thing, because so what's his face? Joe is on a Prodigy contract that he can't get out of. And we're reminded of the opening scene of Alien Romulus, where they have a Weyland-Yutani contract that they can't get out of.
Yes.
So they have to get away. But it sounds like everybody kind of has these relationships with these mega corporations.
And doesn't it sound like Prodigy is the newest one?
Yes.
Like when they're going through, like, here's who owns what continent, basically, in the beginning, they forget about Prodigy. And they're like, don't forget this one that we literally work for. And they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if there was like some other kind of like, you know how in Aaron Brockovich it's PG&E is kind of like the big bad company that allowed these toxins to get into the water supply. I wonder if Weyland-Yutani did this, and he was like a survivor of some kind of like chemical spill. And then so like part of like Prodigy swooped in and said, hey, you can become a Prodigy family. We'll take care of your daughter. We'll hook up your son with a job in our military unit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't get Andorra out of my head, so I'm wondering if like there was a Founders Day massacre that happened or something like that, and then there was like a hostile takeover, and he was a survivor of some kind of like coup or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to know.
Don't we hear Hermit say like, I'm the last one left at some point? Like, doesn't he say something like, like when my dad was dying, I promised I'd go to medical school because I was the last one left?
Yeah.
So it seems like maybe his dad wanted to be a doctor, and then he was like their only chance, and then the sister he was told was like dead, and we don't know what happened to the mother. But yeah, maybe him like losing his eye prevented his medical doctor aspirations or something.
Are we supposed to assume a time jump? I mean, there's definitely some time jump. There was a funeral for Marcy, all that kind of stuff. It didn't feel like they built one into the show.
Right, we kind of jump around a bit.
But then you have to think like, of course, some siblings are that far apart, but you have Joe and Marcy. That feels like a 10-year gap.
Well, you see them when they're young.
Something.
You see them when he's holding her sort of as a baby, and
right,
he doesn't
we
look.
back to that.
He doesn't look like he's older than 5 or 6 to me, and it looks like he's 5 or 6, and he's holding like a 1-year-old. So I do think they're supposed to be fairly close in age. But yeah, I guess we don't know how long it's been since Marcy was like uploaded to this body, or like how long since he was told she was dead.
Right.
But I don't think it's a big time jump. If it's like, obviously they had to bring the kids there, upload those new kids, but I don't think it's like a decade or something. I think at most it's probably, he thinks that his sister's been dead. She looks, when she like undergoes the procedure, she looks like she's what, like 11 or something?
Yeah.
And he's probably supposed to be 18?
Yeah, but I think it might be possible that he started becoming a medic for Prodigy before she went this procedure, because there's that photo of him like with his bags packed, about to get on a bus, and she still has a full head of hair.
Yeah.
So whatever treatment she was going under hadn't caused her to lose her hair yet. So I think like he served some time. It seems like he has combat experience, right? He was unfazed by that debris crushing that guy.
Yeah.
I think he was like a military medic in some kind of combat zone before he was like stationed in New Siam with his crew. So like he's been on tours before.
Yeah.
And then like while he was away, I think she got whatever this illness is. But I like your theory, John, that like Prodigy might have given these kids something.
Yeah.
And targeted them.
yeah,
It just feels like it's something an evil corporation might do.
Yeah.
You know?
totally.
I don't know.
Or, I mean, it's also possible that they like sort of unnaturally got something. Like these are parents who work for the company
The
or
XG.
work, like that, like they like worked like too close to, you know, the equivalent of like whatever future radiation is. And then these people were like, ooh, they're all like ex-employees kids who all were, you know, had popcorn lung.
Yeah. It's really fun to see a xenomorph go through like homes and just wipe people out. It's just wild to see how
Pretty
fast
crazy.
it moves.
I would love to see that xenomorph just like eating the little cheese platter at the end, like killing the powdered wig people, and then like, ooh, charcuterie.
No, the people, Gina, are the food. We are food.
But that's probably because the xenomorph has never tried a cheese
You're right.
platter.
If the xenomorph could only be served something it likes, it would become a vegan
Expand your palate.
or a vegetarian with cheese.
Kirsch, played by Oliphant, is really fun to watch. That whole monologue about like your food or humanity told themselves they weren't food anymore, but there's always going to be something bigger or smaller than you that would love to eat you.
Which also, how is she supposed to react to this? I'd be like, okay, uncle. Like it like smacks of like, I'm gonna be deep at Thanksgiving dinner and tell you that like we're all just meat, and like it's just like, can I go back to watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade now, please?
But then later he also says like, don't be afraid. Animals have fear or whatever. And
Right,
it's kind of
right.
trying to coax them out of being
Yeah.
human. Yeah, I think that you're right about the Westworld stuff. It does feel like the show is going to grapple with like the humanity of synthetic beings. A weird thing to try to talk about in 2025 with like AI being on the rise and people being in love. Not many people, I hope, but some people being in love with
Even
their
one is too many.
AIs. I think it'll be. I hope that it becomes an interesting conversation about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like Noah Hawley said that he wrote and outlined this show before OpenAI and ChatGPT really took off. He's had these scripts done for like 5 years. So he said it's kind of just like a kismet that it is now kind of so relevant.
I mean, people have been writing these stories for decades.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I like need the questions of like synthesoids, because like I feel like from interviewing Noah Hawley, I don't think he knew that Prometheus happened. Like he has said in other interviews, well, you know, the alien universe didn't really have much established lore, and I'm like, Ridley Scott definitely established a lot for Prometheus and Alien Covenant, a lot. Engineers existing is like one of the most provocative like sci-fi film universe bits of lore that have ever been established. So I found that to be an interesting statement, and I think he's like negating much of what happens in Prometheus, which is not a problem. Like I don't need a show that dwells on it, but a lot of what Prometheus and Covenant does is make Fassbender the star and explore the idea of artificial intelligence. And I don't need an alien story that does that. Like I think like the fact that Ash is a robot is a really cool twist in the first Alien, and then when Bishop is able to kind of like subvert those expectations in Aliens, I think it's really cool. But ultimately, it's a man versus beast story, and that's what I want. And so I really liked episode 2 more, where it's just like Nemec and Morrow each dealing with the xenomorph in different ways, whether it's like doing a heroic leap across a stairwell shaft or getting the coolest spray bag in the world. Get me one of those spray bags.
How does it get under? How does it get under?
How does it?
That's my question.
It seeps.
It seeps and sucks.
And then freezes.
Yeah. Oh.
There it goes.
Seeps.
It's kind of curls. It just
Seeping
does this.
under.
It does
So I mean, you bring up something really interesting, man versus beasts. There's obviously like multiple POVs from the show. We're hopping around from location to location. I do wonder, like, when we're gonna leave this tower, when we're gonna leave this apartment building or whatever it really is, right? Like, you could theoretically do like the raid, the show, and just do like Man versus Beast for the whole series and have because I thought that we were not going to get the revelation that these two were siblings, or at least revealed to each other.
Oh, I loved that.
For a long time. I thought that was going to be a secret for a while.
I love that because like a pet peeve of mine is, like I was just talking about this like last night with some other TV writers. When you have a problem that hinges on either a miscommunication or like someone not revealing something, that's like not very good writing. Yeah. Like that's like then you have a problem in your script is the sort of like saying that writers say. So when like they were just like walking down the hall and he was like, "This is your sister," I was like, "Thank God!" Yeah. Like we got that instantly, and that I think is good writing because then it's like, oh yeah, if it was. She's trying to keep it from him for 3 episodes. The audience is going to get frustrated. Like, it's going to be like, and you can tell he's sort of already, like, can tell something is off. And so I love that kid just blurted it out. Like, I thought that was some good writing. I will say, like, I like the added thing of, we usually in these alien properties only see Weyland-Yutani and them being evil. I love this sort of corporate infighting between because I think it's like it's all different shades of morally questionable entities. Like Weyland-Yutani clearly orchestrated this, and they've been shown to like not care about humanity. And Boy Cavalier is maybe being set up as like, well, he is trying to give sick kids a longer life, which has its own moral ramifications. But I think we're going to get the reveal that like, look, all of these, like no ethical billionaires in this world, no ethical trillionaires. I think he's going to be revealed to be even more problematic than we know.
But Gina, he said it wasn't about the money. He told us.
Easy to say when you already have $1 trillion. Like, it's not about the money. Where's my gold Cheerios?
What's interesting is like, I want to know how they got the number trillion. Trillion is like a number that's even hard for people to fathom.
Yeah.
1,000 billions. A billion is difficult to fathom.
Yeah.
But I think they intentionally, get out of here, Bug. Get out of here.
Later.
Bug. Shoe fly. A trillion, I think they got that number because recently, like in the past couple years, NVIDIA got a valuation of $1 trillion. Microsoft got a valuation of $1 trillion, specifically because these companies are like, let's invest in AI. Yeah. And it was really AI. It's more of like the valuation as opposed to like actual liquidatable assets that amount to $1 trillion.
Well, they also did maybe a year or 2 ago. They said that we will see our first trillionaire in our lifetime. I don't know if that means our lifetime,
rise up,
but they said like you will see the first like just based on sort of I guess where the billionaires are right now. You will see the first trillionaire. So it's not crazy to think that by this point in the future, especially when clearly the classes have become even more separated. Like we've never really seen a middle class person in an alien movie, right? Like I guess you could say the scientists,
people with the wigs and the makeup, those are middle class people. They're all probably millionaires.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, like there's no like it's usually either like the working class who are enslaved to one of the big companies or people who work for the big companies. I guess you could say like the scientists are maybe somewhere in the middle class.
Paul Reiser is probably
he's like he's like a white collar paper pusher. So like I could see that, but usually it focuses on like, hey, here, especially more recently, it's sort of like, hey, yeah, like you have to work off your contract that your parents paid. So I don't think it's that crazy to say like, well, you've squished people down long enough to now there is a trillionaire.
Yeah.
Eat the rich, guys.
The trillionaire, will it be someone whose name we already know? Like, will it be just Bezos?
Yeah.
When he acquires something?
Yeah, it probably will, or I mean, it will.
Could be Altman. Who knows?
Could be Altman.
Oh, yeah. God. It's going to be one of us, you guys. We're going to sell enough Nerd Riot t-shirts that we're going to become trillionaires.
Any other big lingering questions? I have some from our friends on Twitch.
Yeah, let's hear them.
Okay, here we go. Spidey Sensei 72 asks, the sick kids who donate their brains to the boy genius become permanent property of his company? They really lose possession of themselves?
Great question.
Yeah,
I think it is because they're considered, proprietary. property that they don't want any other company to get a hold on.
Now, did you guys feel like her being able to interact with the robot through the screens and all that kind of stuff feels like an unplanned consequence?
No, they specifically say like, oh, we gave her some tools that we didn't give the others.
Okay.
And someone says like, oh, you're playing favorites. You're so clearly they sort of like gave her access that they did not give to the others. And I think it's because they want to control her because they know the other kids are so in her thrall, for lack of a better term.
Well, I can see that becomes the a major conflict of this show. They want to control her, but she has powers that mean that she's harder to control. A tale as old as time. I mean, you said
11.
her age being 11 made me think of Stranger Things.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about like her ability to control different streaming media. CCTV.
She can swipe an iPad really well.
It's very like Lucy or Transcendent. And it's just kind of like.
I do like how that one soldier's like, what is she doing?
Yeah.
Is it weird that a human being is doing that?
Mick Jack Attack on Twitch says, do you think the walrus stuffy that Wendy has is a reference to Alice in Wonderland? Oh, as in the walrus in the carpenter?
This person's British.
The time has come, the walrus said.
I don't know. That might be one too many old Disney references. It might just be a walrus.
We want more. Yeah, we don't want old Disney. We would prefer old DreamWorks. Is there a walrus in Ice Age? I'm sure there is.
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know.
I think it's all more like prehistoric animals, like saber-tooth and mammoth.
That's true.
Yeah.
They don't have walruses back then?
I'm a mammoth.
The walrus in that story does eat a bunch of baby oysters,
they
though. He's not a good person in Alice in Wonderland.
He does, yeah. Shailina on Twitch says, can we talk about how that xenomorph moonwalked back to see Morrow through the door? He totally did do it.
Yeah.
Beep, beep.
I want someone to be like, they're getting cooler.
Damn, that xenomorph had sunglasses on. That's crazy. We're inside.
He's
He
pooching.
gives a little tip of his hat and then like exit. Hello,
dunked.
my baby. Hello, my honey. It's a Spaceball references for all you youngins.
Air Chimi says, the TV show is before the first movie, right? Maybe the company decided that it's better for no one to know based on the incident. So maybe you're talking about like why they didn't tell the Nostromo crew that Ash is a synth. I think it's only 2 years before. So like I think the Nostromo crew was still in space by the time the Maginot outbreak happened. Like they're just out. Because to even do this, you have to like put people in cryosleep, and they're out for light years. It takes forever for them to get back.
But synths are not necessarily new, right? Like hybrids are. But it seems like synths have been around
for a few decades, yeah.
It's also like interesting that in this case, hybrid is a synth with human consciousness, basically. But we've seen other hybrids before that are xenomorphs mixed with people. So it's interesting that it seems like each company is like, how do we make humanity more hardy? And like one is like, well, put their consciousness into a robot body, basically, or like a synthetic body. And the other company is like, put alien blood in them and make a baby. Because it seems like Boy Cavalier by the end of this is going to be like that company. It seems like is going to be no more.
Yeah, we don't hear of Prodigy and Aliens,
right?
But it might just be the narrow point of view that Ellen Ripley is in when she goes back to Earth.
Yeah, or maybe Wayland Yutani is like at the end of this is gonna like buy him out.
Yeah. There is a thing in the, again, we don't know if this is canon in Noah Hawley's mind, but like as of the events of Alien Resurrection, we're now like 300 years after this. It's like 2349 or something like that, 200 years, I guess. And all corporations on Earth have been outlawed, but Wayland Yutani continues to operate in secret. All these other companies, Prodigy, Lynch, Dynamic, Threshold, they will eventually lose. Other crazy things will happen on planet Earth.
They'll probably be broken up or whatever. Yeah.
Well, I think there's like major conflict on Earth. Like there's like climate crises and war and all this other shit.
Can't relate to that.
The planet.
Doesn't ring true to me.
You're a climate changes the hoax type of person, is that?
Yeah. It was gonna change no matter what, you guys. Humans didn't do it.
We all survived an ice age.
So it's a little hot.
Zay Dragon Slayer on Twitch says, how did the crew gather all 5 specimens if they're all so deadly? Well, the guy did say they lost a lot of men gathering them.
Yeah. And also, like, Go ahead.
Do you think Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence were one of the, were two of the people that they lost?
Deadly.
God. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like, the cyborg guy knows how to deal with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows how many people died trying to get him.
Zay Dragon Slayer also
And
asks,
did we see all 5? Or did we just see the 3?
So we see 3 in action at least. Well, there's a 4th one that's just hanging out and going.
Yeah. There's the eyeball popper, the tick thing that sucks your blood and then turns into a fat bottom girl.
And then the xenomorph. I believe the eyeball popper is called the Teocellus, which we only know from like a trailer shot. But yeah, it mimics the eyeball and then like feeds off your brain and then pretends to be your eye and then pops out. You have the leech ticks that just get super fat on your jugular blood.
Yeah.
The xenomorphs. Then you have this thing that pretends to be a plant.
Okay.
But it is an animal.
I guess you're right, because it does have the little tendril thing.
Yeah.
Which I know that they're kids in adult bodies.
Oh, so we saw 4
gotta
of the
run.
5.
We gotta learn how to
Why are
run.
you just looking at it,
Just
dumb
don't
dumb?
stand there.
Yeah.
Well, and you see the
right.
5th one in a tank. There's stuff that they did not get out. And Moro even says, like, some of them are still secure and intact. And those are like a flying insect that you don't really see what they do yet.
Oh, yeah.
But one of these things, I'm guessing it's the thing that looks like a plant pod, releases a toxin. Because that's how one of the science officers died.
Oh,
like
the
she was
blue
operated
lips.
and she had blue lips, so there was some kind of poison that she got. The xenomorphs don't distribute poison, they bleed acid, but they don't poison you. They'll just like use their tail or their mouth to puncture you.
Yeah.
So I don't think the leeches poison you. As far as we know, the ocellus eyeball thing doesn't poison you. It just burrows into you, like latches on you and burrows.
Very upsetting.
Yeah, really creepy. That poor kitty cat.
I know. I did not like that. I like that there was a cat because I was like, oh, reference to the cat in the first movie. And
Yeah,
then
I thought we were gonna have
not
a
like what
Jonesy.
happened, Noah Hawley.
And they jump scared you this time with a dog instead of with the cat.
Dog just barks at us.
Yeah.
Zay Dragon Slayer also asks, do you think we'll get an episode that shows the attack on the ship? Oh, like just spends the whole episode on the ship?
Oh.
Maybe. I feel like we got it.
Yeah.
Like we got the gist of it.
Yeah. I think if you slowed down all those quick cuts and put them together, you probably would have it.
Yeah, I think we'll flash back to it.
Yeah.
Do you guys think there's any other survivors other than Moro from the Maginot crew?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a
I think
good question.
Morrow.
Would
It
have
seems
taken
like
them
there's
out.
something like an ulterior mission or something like that. Yeah, would have like tried to find them and take them out or something.
But what I am curious about is if he works for Weyland-Yutani, why would he have crashed it into a place that is not owned by Weyland-Yutani? Like why does he, because we see with that corporate phone call where they're like, hey, everything on that ship is owned by us. And he's like, cool, have the lawyers take care of it because we know by the time the lawyers are done, he'll already probably know what's going on. Like, was there, it seems like it was unplanned. It seems like he had a mission, something went wrong, and he was like, I gotta crash land into a prodigy place.
Well, I don't think Moro aimed for it. He already went into that impact pod before it crashed into the station by the moon. I think the mother directive drew it into. So I think it was Yutani who might have said, like, this could actually really help us from a corporate perspective if there's like this deadly outbreak and they have to like quarantine and that might kill some of these 1%ers that they need to fund their projects. I don't know, maybe it was like a plan by Yutani to do this.
Yeah, some corporate espionage. We want to get into that building, but we don't have a good way of getting in there.
Because she didn't seem that upset. Like she was very calculated in her phone call with Boy Cavalier. And he almost seemed like a little too on his high horse. I feel like she's got some other real plan that she's working on.
Yeah, that's definitely possible.
And I think that is like what is missing from these first 2 episodes. I think the first 2 episodes for me felt like there are some questions if you start digging and looking for them, like we love to do. I don't think that the show set up successfully like people have ulterior motives and there's plans that people are laying and you're just gonna have to like hang out with us for a little while and we'll explain it. And
an overarching mystery.
Yeah. I think like if they had given us a little bit more of like, hey, here's why you need to show up for episode 3 because there's this thing that you really want to know about, rather than like, oh, these characters that you just met are in danger.
Yeah.
I don't know that I really care that much.
Is brother and sister the least interesting relationship?
In terms of
In general, if you're doing an
It
improv
might
scene,
be.
sisters is fun, brothers is fun, father son, father daughter, mother son, mother daughter, aunt nephew. I'm just thinking
Yeah.
grandparents, cousins is more fun. But brother and sister, it's kind of like
I have a brother, so I think it's the most interesting.
I have a sister, and I think it might be the least interesting.
Oh, interesting.
I think it can be. I mean, from a dramatic perspective, not important in value
No,
to our
no.
lives.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
like. Bart and Lisa had the Hell on Ice episode that was one of my favorite episodes.
I
But
do
other
think it's
than
more
that-
about the fact that they're the only two left that have memories of their parents. Like
Sure.
it is like he has been alone with these memories. And like his one thing is like, hey, please let me go off planet and be a doctor because that's what my dad wanted. She has been alone with these memories, which is why she's becoming more and more obsessed with watching him. So I think it's almost less like, hey, we have like such a tight bond, and more like we're the only humans left that remember our family. And now the alien is gonna make a little family with them. That's how this is gonna end. It's gonna be like the alien, like in a little apron, like serving bundt cake and meatloaf to these kids, and they're gonna be like, "Thank you, Mama."
I mean, maybe I've been watching too much Game of Thrones. There was a moment where she answers one of his questions correctly, and he leans in for a hug, and I was like, "Don't kiss."
I did have a moment
doing?
where, like I was like, is anyone gonna hit on this synth with the child brain? Because
Yeah.
that's gonna make me feel icky.
Absolutely, that will happen.
Yeah.
I hope not. Let's just pretend they're all kids and like just treat the characters that way.
Yeah. So far they have been, by the way. So far no one's.
So far.
But I bet if she had gone to that powdered wig party, the guy would be like, "Ooh,
right.
step inside. We've got cream puffs."
What memories of 9/11 do you have? You don't remember
Well,
it?
9/11, 21/11. Wait, hold on. 2101.
Another question. I think this might be your last question from Dev in the Water on Twitch. What do you think the transfer is? It looks like a printer making copying.
Oh, like when they put the consciousness into the brains. Yeah, I mean that is a good question.
Do you mean like metaphysically what is happening?
Yeah, yeah,
I was surprised
yeah.
they weren't like wired up or in a tank somewhere.
Yeah, it does just seem like it's sort of like downloading all of their prior memories, because we see flashes of some of those memories.
Right.
And then even like after she's transferred to it, they kind of put her back in that, which is maybe like to keep her memories alive. It definitely seems like they have not yet perfected this procedure. And the best they can sort of do is a photocopy of the original person.
Yeah, it means that they must have found a way to detach the consciousness.
Yeah.
Which also includes the memories. Now, memories are stored in certain lobes of the brain, like physical gray matter is what stores it. It's not like a current of electricity that's zapping among our synapses that is our soul. It's actual physical cells that you'd have to transplant. So maybe there's like vibrating that is liquefying the gray matter and then feeding it into the new, or maybe they just found out which lobes you can actually detach.
Yeah, or maybe they're just stimulating the memories and copying the memories instead of your actual like personalities, because memories are what sort of form your personality. So maybe they've just figured out a way to copy memories, which is very like San Junipero, Black Mirror. You know, they're sort of like downloading the collective memories of your lifetime into this machine.
Yeah.
That is an interesting theory or question or something to propose, which is like, if it's not a transfer and it is a copy, is that still Marcy or is that Wendy, and are they different?
I mean, I think they like. I think that I love the specific about like, hey, like your emotions are because you have spikes of different hormones, and without those spikes, you're not going to feel those emotions like as strongly or at all. I love that specific.
Could you juice emotions?
Well, that's what she
know?
says. That's what the doctor says. She's like, I think we should amp them up.
But I mean, in like a particular moment, I need to feel angry because I need to kill this thing or whatever. I'm gonna take a shot of that hormone.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like that's sort of what they're experimenting around with. Like they're trying to perfect like what makes a human.
I thought it was so interesting how Kirsch was saying, like, why are we going to tell these kid hybrids why are we trying to replicate human emotion? I think he was like hinting at the fact that like things like serotonin and adrenaline, like the reason we have that is that kind of fight or flight instinct is because we are flesh bodies that can get hurt. Yeah. But if we were made of different substances that didn't cause us to feel pain or to take physical injury the same way, do we need things like adrenaline and serotonin? Yeah. And does that only cause emotional weight that we have to drag along with us? And it's almost saying like, are human beings not meant to grow old? Are we meant to drop dead at age 32? Because that's when like reproductive age is done. And like, you know, because like medical science has expanded the lifespan up to 70 something years old now. But it's like evolutionarily speaking, we're only meant to live long enough to make sure our offspring reach sexual maturity on their own. So like, I think he's saying that like, well, okay, for the rest of the 40 years that we now have on all of our time cards, it's like we got to carry around all this shit, all this emotion. And does that stuff make us stronger and wiser, or does it actually just like plague us with reasons to go to therapy?
I think he definitely sees the emotions as a weakness, which is why like later on he says the thing about like, oh, like fear is for animals, like don't be afraid, blah 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 blah. So I think when she suggests like, yeah, let's juice up their emotions, because she wants them to be more human. She wants them to be like, she doesn't want them to be robots. He wants them to be more robot. And I think that's an interesting clash there because he is a robot. So he's like, why would you make them weaker? And she's like, I want to make them more human. Yeah, I kind of dig some of the themes.
Setting us up for a Superman-esque, that's what makes me human monologue.
Did you guys see the behind the scenes video of that? Of like James Gunn and David Cornswet arguing? Man, a lot of people are taking that out of context to be like, oh, they made his performance worse. But I'm like, no, that means both of these creatives really care about this moment. And
also, I don't even think that they were arguing. It seemed like a pretty level-headed conversation. Also, like
Cornswet was still in that mode. He's like, I'm feeling this right now. I want to know, get me to the emotional place I need to get to for the take.
Also, by the way, I've seen 100 times on sets when actors are like, hey, what is this? Like, what's my motivation? And like a writer or a director is like, oh, it's this, it's this, it's this. It's a conversation. I think maybe people who are seeing it and being like, look at them, they're fighting, he's making it worse. It's like, oh, you've never been on a set before. Because it's super common for that stuff to happen on set.
Show that you don't know how movies are made.
Exactly. It's, I mean, you know, like I myself have had like discussions with actors of like, hey, this is like, it's written like this and you're playing it like this. And they're like, oh, I just think it's like happens on literally like every set, every day you're shooting.
I mean, it's like getting a text message and inferring the wrong thing. Right? You're like, oh, that was text, and I did not get the.
And neither one of them is like, you son of a bitch, you're missing the point. It's just like, hey, what about this? Yeah, but this, and this is what I was thinking. I was like, oh, this is the most like civil discussion on set I've seen.
I think like just the text of it is maybe 2% of the overall communication.
Right.
Like we are hardwired to pick up on so many other physical and emotional cues and subtext and passive aggressions and all these other little things that are completely deeper than just what the literal text of the message was. I don't know. We've gotten far off topic, but any other final thoughts you guys have about Alien Earth?
I would love it if like Hermit is like, he gets captured, he has laid eggs inside of him, and his sister is basically like, you need to give my brother a synth body, like upload his consciousness. And like maybe he doesn't want it, or maybe Boy Cavalier is like, no, he's too old, because they say there's an age cutoff.
Brain's too hard.
Yeah, like because to me that would be sort of a natural thing. Like he has been taken by an alien. She's either gonna make him her husband, or she's gonna lay eggs in him.
Yeah, I mean, again, while I think we had higher expectations for these first 2 episodes, our discussion today has gotten me kind of excited for the next few episodes, and I do think they've laid solid groundwork that can pay off. Maybe it won't, maybe it will.
We've laid alien eggs.
They've laid a little egg. So I'm hopeful that the next few episodes, sort of deliver on the expectation.
Yeah, we're gonna stay with the eggs. Is that the last line of?
Yeah, we're gonna stay with the eggs.
She says stay with the omelet.
The omelet.
What a funny closing line. Episode 2.
It's great. I'm gonna stay with this omelet.
Are you gonna cook them? Are we gonna scramble them?
You gonna put a little creme fraiche on there?
Ooh, butter chive.
I mean, a 5-egg omelet's a big omelet. We're
big
talking
omelet.
frittata at that.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, do a Spanish tortilla and get some
yeah.
potatoes in there. Get your onions in there.
Now we're
Some
cooking.
bell peppers.
We don't know if we're gonna be back covering this every week. We'd like to, but we're gonna hit Peacemaker soon, and we may get other news. We may get like a Avengers Doomsday Part 2 cast announcement later this month. But we will be watching this every week, and my Easter egg breakdown will be coming to the new Rockstars channel on Thursday. We don't know what time of day yet. I'm still working on it, but yeah. Thank you for your patience on that. FX didn't give us screeners for more than episode 1.
Damn you, FX.
Which is annoying because they did let me interview Noah Hawley and Alex Lothar, and like I could have asked them so many more questions if I at least saw episode 2.
You know why? Noah Hawley's in the rest of the episodes. So they don't want you to ask any questions about his acting.
You should have asked him to act out all the next episodes.
Yeah.
Can you do all the voices too?
Yeah. But we'll be watching it every week. It's gonna be 1 episode per week on Hulu, and I'm really excited. But comment down below with what you really loved about episode 1 and 2, and some other questions or theories that you might have. We'd love to see them in the comments down below. Again, nerdriot.shop is a great place where we have all kinds of really, really cool alien-inspired designs and designs from every really nerdy fandom that you love. And it's a great way that you can support New Rockstars. Subscribe to all the channels in the New Rockstars network, especially right here in the Breakroom. We love to see you here, whether you're on YouTube or joining us on Twitch. We really appreciate you spending your afternoon or whenever you watch this. We appreciate you spending your time with us. Thanks to John. Thanks to Gina.
Thank you, Eric.
And thanks to Brian Kim, who edited and produced and studio teched this episode and all the episodes of The Breakroom that you see. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye.
Bye.